Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me, daughters of God, because I'm about to tell you something important. Life's got a way of testing us, and evil men, they come in all shapes and sizes. They wear the mask of charm, of smooth words. But don't be fooled. Don't be deceived by the sweet talk, because behind those words, there's a heart that has no love for you, no respect for the God that you serve. You see, evil men, those who seek to destroy your spirit, they come into your life not to build, but to tear down. They manipulate with their actions, and their true intentions come out over time. And let me tell you, it's never pretty. They'll try to control you, control your decisions, control your every move. You cannot let that happen. Your worth, your value, your dignity, it doesn't lie in what he says or does. It's not for him to define. A man who does not honor your boundaries, he's not sent from God. A man who doesn't respect your family, he's got no place in your life. The way he treats others will show you exactly who he is. Don't let his charm blind you to the fact that he's tearing down everything good and holy in your life. And if he's lying, if he's deceiving you, covering up his sins, you need to walk away. Do not tolerate dishonesty. You are a daughter of the Most High, and that kind of behavior has no place in your life. God's plan for you is bigger, it's better, and it's full of peace. Don't let anyone disturb that peace. Evil men bring confusion, they bring chaos, but God, he brings clarity, he brings peace, and he will guide you through every storm. They'll try to isolate you. They'll make you feel like the only person you can trust is them, but that's not the truth, and you know it. Trust in God's wisdom. Trust in the people who love you. Trust in the discernment he's given you. Because when you're aligned with his will, you will see the signs, you'll feel it deep down inside, and you'll know when it's time to walk away. Don't let them tear you down. They might try to make you feel small, but you are a queen, a warrior, a daughter of the Most High. You've got the power of God on your side. Know your worth. Know the signs. And when you see those signs, don't waste time. Protect your heart, protect your peace, and keep walking in the light. You've got something beautiful ahead, but you have to make the decision to walk away from what doesn't serve you. God's got you, always. So trust him, trust yourself, and know that you are worthy of a love that lifts you up, not one that drags you down. Stand strong, stand proud, and know that when you know the signs of evil men, you won't fall for the lies. You're too strong for that. Evil men often speak with words that seem sweet at first, masking their true intentions behind a veil of charm and persuasion. They know how to make you feel special, how to make you feel heard and appreciated. But beneath those words lies a darker agenda. Words are powerful. They can build you up, or they can tear you down. An evil man uses words to manipulate, to control, and to get what he wants. He'll tell you what you want to hear, playing to your emotions, your desires, your insecurities. He's an expert in flattery and saying exactly what sounds good in the moment, but his promises are shallow and fleeting. It's important to recognize that words are not just about what is said, but how they make you feel over time. At first, you may feel like you've met the perfect person, but as time passes, you start to feel confused, unsure of yourself, or constantly questioning your own worth. This is the effect of manipulation. His words become like a drug, addicting you to his validation, making you more reliant on his approval and less reliant on the voice of truth within yourself. Evil men often use words to deflect responsibility. They will make excuses, twist stories, and place blame elsewhere. They'll speak of love, of commitment, but their actions fail to align with their promises. They might even speak in religious terms, attempting to convince you that their actions are justified in the name of love or faith. But words without action are empty. A man who truly honors God, who truly loves, will back up his words with consistent, respectful behavior. A man's intentions are the true reflection of his character, and often they reveal themselves not through grand gestures, but through the small, subtle actions that happen over time. While words can deceive, intentions have a way of revealing the truth. An evil man will approach you with a mask of kindness, but his underlying goal is control, manipulation, or self-interest. His intentions are never centered on your well-being or your growth. He may present himself as caring, attentive, and even loving at first, But as the relationship deepens, his true intentions begin to surface. He may want to keep you isolated, cutting you off from family or friends who would give you a different perspective on him. He may want to have power over your decisions, your emotions, and your life choices. He doesn't support your dreams or ambitions unless they align with his desires. The moment you start to become your own person, independent and strong in your own right, he will start to feel threatened, and you will see a shift in his behavior. His intentions will be clear. He is not interested in seeing you grow. He is interested in keeping you dependent on him, under his control. An evil man will always act in ways that serve his own needs first. His intentions may be hidden behind the charm, the sweet talk, the promises of love, but actions speak louder than words. He may promise commitment and partnership, but in reality he is selfish, using you for his own gain, whether it be for emotional, physical, or material purposes. Pay attention to what he does, not just what he says. His actions, the way he handles conflict, his respect for your dreams and desires, will always show you his true intention. A man who truly respects you will honor your boundaries without hesitation. Boundaries are not just physical lines, they are emotional, mental, and spiritual lines that define who you are and what you need to feel safe and valued in a relationship. When an evil man enters your life, he will test these boundaries, often subtly at first, pushing them just a little bit to see how much you're willing to tolerate. His goal isn't to understand or respect your limits, but to break them down over time until you no longer have control over your own space or feelings. He might start by making you feel guilty for setting a boundary. He'll accuse you of being unreasonable, too protective, or even distant. An evil man will twist your boundaries into something that makes you feel like you're the one in the wrong for wanting to maintain your sense of self. He will manipulate your desire for peace and affection to undermine your standards, subtly making you question your own values and needs. When you set clear boundaries, a man who truly respects you will listen and adapt. He will understand that your needs are important, and he will find ways to meet you halfway. But an evil man will push, pressure, and try to coerce you into abandoning your limits. He may try to make you feel as though you owe him more than you're comfortable giving, all while justifying his actions as acts of love or care. The way a man reacts to your boundaries is a clear indication of his character. If he disregards them, dismisses them, or tries to convince you that they don't matter, he has no genuine respect for you. True respect in any relationship is rooted in the mutual understanding and honor of each other's boundaries. How a man treats others is one of the clearest indicators of his true character. If he shows disrespect or disdain toward others, especially women, children, or people in vulnerable positions, it's a reflection of how he might one day treat you. An evil man will often be kind and charming to you at first, but his behavior toward others speaks volumes about the depth of his respect and integrity. Watch how he treats waitstaff, cashiers, or even people he doesn't need anything from. Does he belittle them, speak to them dismissively, or treat them as if they are beneath him? These small acts of disrespect reveal the true nature of a man who believes he is superior to others, someone who sees people as tools for his own convenience, rather than equals deserving of kindness and dignity. An evil man will often show little to no empathy for others. He may disregard the feelings of those around him, especially when no one is watching. His treatment of his family, his friends, or even strangers on the street will reveal his underlying attitude towards relationships and respect. If he has no genuine compassion for others, it's unlikely he'll have the emotional capacity to treat you with the love, care, and respect you deserve. Moreover, an evil man might attempt to manipulate or control the way you view others, making you believe that certain people are not worthy of your time or attention. This tactic is used to isolate you, to cut off your support system so that you are left dependent on him. A man who respects you will encourage you to maintain strong, healthy relationships with those around you, while an evil man will try to diminish or undermine those bonds. His true nature is revealed not only in how he treats you, but in how he treats everyone else in his life. A man who desires control is not interested in a partnership built on equality and mutual respect. He is focused on manipulation and dominance. From the very beginning, he will subtly try to take the reins in your life, pushing his opinions, desires, and decisions onto you. His actions will seem caring at first, as if he's looking out for your best interests. But the underlying truth is that he wants to dictate how you live, what you do, and even who you are. This control manifests in many ways. Sometimes it's through decisions about how you spend your time, who you associate with, or what you wear. Other times it's more emotional. He may gaslight you, making you question your own judgment or perceptions until you begin to doubt yourself and your ability to make decisions independently. A man who desires control may try to limit your freedom. He may insist on knowing where you are at all times, or become angry or jealous if you spend time with others, particularly those who pose a threat to his authority over you. He will find ways to make you feel like you need his approval for everything: your career choices, your hobbies, even the way you spend your money. Over time, his desire for control will erode your sense of self, making you feel trapped in a relationship where your autonomy and individuality are compromised. This desire for control doesn't come from a place of love or care, but from insecurity and the need to dominate. A healthy relationship is based on mutual support, not control. A man who truly loves you will respect your independence and will encourage you to be the best version of yourself without the need to manipulate or dominate. A lack of humility is a glaring sign of an evil man's character. He is someone who cannot admit when he's wrong or acknowledge his mistakes. Instead, he will deflect blame, make excuses, or simply deny that he has done anything wrong. His pride is so deep-rooted that it prevents him from seeing his flaws and learning from them. To him, the idea of apologizing or showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness, and he believes he is always right, regardless of the evidence or how his actions affect others. This inflated sense of self-importance means he can never truly grow or improve as a person, because he is constantly in denial about his own shortcomings. When someone lacks humility, they often take credit for things they didn't do and refuse to give credit to others when it's deserved. They cannot acknowledge the contributions of those around them because they are so fixated on their own self-impugn. In a relationship, this manifests as an unwillingness to recognize or appreciate the efforts, emotions, or needs of the other person. The evil man will act as though he is the center of everything, and any recognition or praise should be directed toward him. His lack of humility also means he rarely takes responsibility for his actions. If something goes wrong, he will shift the blame onto you or others, never accepting that he might have contributed to the problem. This creates an environment where growth is impossible, because there is no accountability, no introspection, and no desire to change. Without humility, a man cannot form a true connection with another person. He may pretend to be understanding, but in reality, he is too proud to show genuine care, respect, or love. Dishonesty is one of the clearest indicators that a man's intentions are not pure. An evil man thrives on deception, weaving lies to protect his image, manipulate situations, or cover up his wrongdoings. At first, these lies may appear harmless, small white lies that seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But over time, the dishonesty builds, creating a web of falsehoods that ultimately erode trust and undermine any sense of security in the relationship. A dishonest man may fabricate stories to avoid responsibility or justify his behavior, telling you what he thinks you want to hear rather than what is true. This dishonesty is not limited to grand lies, but extends to the small, everyday omissions and half-truths that accumulate, painting a distorted picture of reality. When confronted, he will often become defensive, deny the truth, or even accuse you of being overly suspicious. Instead of facing the consequences of his actions, he will manipulate the narrative to shift blame or create confusion. Over time, you will begin to question your own judgment, and the trust that is essential for any healthy relationship will be slowly chipped away. Moreover, an evil man will use dishonesty to control the flow of information. He may withhold crucial details, keep secrets, or outright deceive you to create a sense of dependence. By lying, he keeps you off balance, unsure of what is real and what isn't. This manipulation leads to confusion and doubt, leaving you vulnerable and reliant on his version of events. His dishonesty is not about protecting you, but about maintaining control and avoiding accountability for his actions. The more he lies, the more difficult it becomes to distinguish truth from fiction, making it harder to trust not only him, but your own instincts as well. An evil man's presence often brings with it a storm of turmoil that disrupts the peace of those around him. He may not always display outward aggression, but his actions, words, and energy disturb the calm, creating a constant sense of unrest. He thrives in chaos and often seems to intentionally introduce it into the relationship. It may start with minor arguments or irritations, but over time, these disturbances grow larger and more frequent, making it difficult to experience true peace. Whether through gaslighting, manipulation, or just creating tension, an evil man will ensure that you are always on edge, constantly worried about what might set him off next. He undermines your peace by sowing seeds of doubt, confusion, and fear. His words can be cutting, meant to unsettle you and make you question yourself. His actions can be unpredictable, keeping you in a state of emotional limbo where you're never quite sure what's going to happen next. The goal is simple: to keep you in a state of emotional vulnerability, making it harder for you to maintain your sense of security or balance. In the midst of this chaos, it becomes difficult to focus on anything else, and your emotional energy is drained by constantly trying to restore peace that he continues to break down. An evil man also refuses to give you the space you need to recharge and regain your peace. He may demand attention at all hours, disregard your needs, or turn small disagreements into major conflicts. The peace you once had is replaced by anxiety, confusion, and an inability to relax or feel secure. He thrives on the destruction of peace because it keeps you dependent on him and his moods. He seeks to control the environment, forcing you to tiptoe around his volatility, ultimately robbing you of the tranquility you deserve. An evil man's addiction to sin is one of the most dangerous traits to recognize because it reflects a deeper, unaddressed issue within his character. His life becomes dominated by patterns of sinful behavior that he is either unable or unwilling to break free from. These addictions can range from destructive habits such as substance abuse or infidelity to more subtle forms like manipulation, lying, or taking advantage of others for personal gain. No matter the form, the root of these addictions is a lack of self-control and a disregard for the moral and spiritual guidelines that define a healthy, righteous life. What makes this addiction so dangerous is that it doesn't just affect the individual, it impacts everyone in his life. An evil man's addiction to sin makes him incapable of true self-reflection or growth. Instead of seeking redemption or understanding the consequences of his actions, he repeats his destructive behaviors without remorse. His addiction creates a cycle of harm, not only to himself, but to those around him. He may promise to change, he may apologize, but his actions speak louder than his words. He falls back into old habits, unable or unwilling to break free, and this repeated failure erodes the trust and respect in the relationship. This addiction is not just a momentary lapse in judgment, but a lifestyle choice that defines him. It becomes a way of coping with the deeper pain, insecurity, or emptiness he feels inside. He may justify his behavior or make excuses, but the truth is, he lacks the strength to confront his demons and choose a different path. His addiction to sin keeps him bound in a cycle of dishonesty, hurt, and destruction. It prevents him from growing into the person he could be, and worse, it drags others down with him, keeping them trapped in his web of deceit and harmful behavior. A lack of spiritual connection in a man is one of the clearest signs that his foundation is unstable, leaving him vulnerable to negative influences and destructive behavior. Without a genuine relationship with God, he lacks the guidance, wisdom, and moral compass that comes from faith. A man who is disconnected from his spirituality is often driven by self-interest and worldly desires, rather than higher values. He may go through the motions, speaking about faith when it suits him, but his actions fail to reflect the principles that a true spiritual life demands. His decisions are based on personal gain or momentary pleasure, not on love, humility, or service to others. This lack of spiritual connection also shows in his inability to offer real guidance or support. Without God at the center of his life, he cannot provide the spiritual leadership that a healthy relationship requires. Instead of lifting you up, he may pull you away from your own faith, making you feel as if spirituality is not important or that it should take a back seat to his desires and needs. His disconnection from God may lead to a lack of empathy or understanding, especially when you face challenges that require patience, kindness, or selflessness. Furthermore, a man without a spiritual foundation is often more susceptible to temptation and destructive behaviors. Without the strength that comes from faith, he may struggle to resist the pull of sin and indulgence, choosing fleeting satisfaction over long-term growth and integrity. This connection makes it impossible for him to truly understand the depth of love, compassion, and sacrifice that a spiritual connection brings. Without this foundation, he lacks the ability to offer you the kind of love that is selfless, patient, and enduring, qualities that are essential for a healthy, God-centered relationship. An evil man will often seek to isolate you from the people and influences that can provide you with clarity, support, and love. At first, his attempts may seem subtle, disguised as concern or a desire to spend more time together. But over time, his actions will reveal an intention to control your world, limiting your interactions with family, friends, and anyone who might offer you a different perspective. He will begin to make you feel guilty for wanting to spend time with others, subtly implying that you are prioritizing them over him, or that they don't understand you the way he does. He may criticize your loved ones, pointing out their flaws or convincing you that they are not as supportive of you as they should be. This creates doubt in your mind and slowly begins to erode the trust and relationships you once had with those closest to you. The isolation doesn't always look like outright restrictions at first. It can start with small requests, such as wanting you to spend the weekend with him instead of attending a family gathering, or telling you that a certain friend is a bad influence. As these requests become more frequent, you begin to question whether these people are truly beneficial to your life or if perhaps he is right. The longer this continues, the more your world shrinks, and the more dependent you become on him for emotional support, approval, and validation. The reason he isolates you is simple. It's easier to manipulate and control someone when they are cut off from their support system. By removing the people who care about you, he creates an environment where you rely on him for everything: your happiness, your sense of worth, and your emotional stability. Slowly but surely, your connection to the outside world weakens, and his control over you strengthens. Jealousy and manipulation are two of the most toxic traits an evil man can possess, often going hand in hand to create a damaging dynamic in a relationship. His jealousy is not rooted in love or concern, but in control and insecurity. He becomes possessive of your time, your attention, and even your interactions with others. His jealousy may seem harmless at first, disguised as a protective instinct or a desire to spend more time with you, but soon it escalates into accusations, unwarranted doubts, and attempts to undermine your relationships with family, friends, or colleagues. The jealousy is not just about romantic interests. It extends to any situation where you might be independent or receiving attention outside of his sphere of influence. He will often make you feel guilty for socializing, pursuing your passions, or maintaining your own life outside of him. Alongside jealousy, his manipulation takes root, often in the form of guilt-tripping, emotional blackmail, or creating scenarios that make you question your own behavior. He will turn situations around to make you feel as if you're the one who is at fault for the tension or conflict. If you are simply spending time with a friend, he might twist the situation to make it seem like you're being disloyal or neglectful. He'll use his jealousy as a tool to manipulate your actions, making you feel responsible for his insecurities or emotional outbursts. Over time, this manipulation can leave you feeling confused and drained as you are constantly trying to please him and calm his jealous tendencies. The more you try to justify your actions or prove your loyalty, the more control he gains. You may even begin to question whether your behavior is truly inappropriate, when in reality, it is his jealousy and manipulation that are creating an unhealthy and unbalanced dynamic. An evil man will often make you feel small, diminishing your sense of self-worth and confidence with subtle and sometimes overt actions. He will belittle your achievements, dismiss your ideas, or criticize the very things that make you unique. Whether it's your career, your talents, or your personality, he will find ways to make you question your value. His words are sharp, aimed at eroding your confidence and planting seeds of doubt in your mind. What might have started as gentle teasing or a seemingly harmless comment will eventually turn into a pattern of negative reinforcement that leaves you feeling inadequate and insignificant. He may mock your dreams or act as though your passions and ambitions are silly or unimportant. Any attempt you make to pursue your goals will be met with discouragement as he tries to convince you that you're not capable or worthy of achieving them. This is a tactic designed to keep you small, dependent on him for validation, and constantly questioning your abilities. The more you start to believe that you are not enough, he might also make you feel small through emotional manipulation, making you feel guilty or responsible for his moods or shortcomings. Instead of offering support or encouragement, he will twist situations to make you feel like you're the problem. You will begin to tiptoe around his insecurities, adjusting your actions, feelings, and even thoughts to avoid conflict. Over time, this makes you feel like you're walking in his shadow, with no room to fully express yourself or grow into the person you were meant to be. His actions systematically diminish your power, making you feel as though you don't deserve the respect, love, or opportunities that come naturally with a healthy sense of self. An evil man will often take advantage of your kindness, manipulating your compassion to serve his own needs. At first, his requests may seem innocent or even reasonable, but over time you begin to realize that he is using your generosity as a tool to control you. He will make you feel responsible for his emotional well-being, convincing you that your love and care should be endless, regardless of how he treats you in return. He may ask for favors, time, or energy that you're happy to give, but gradually these demands become excessive, and the balance of the relationship shifts. You give and give, only to find that he takes more than you can afford to offer, emotionally, mentally, or even physically. Your kindness will be twisted to make you feel like it's your duty to keep him satisfied, to be there for him whenever he needs you, no matter what. If you ever set boundaries or ask for something in return, he will accuse you of being selfish or unloving. He exploits your goodness by making you feel guilty for wanting to take care of yourself, for needing rest, or for seeking your own happiness. Slowly, your sense of self becomes eroded as you continuously put his needs above your own, believing that you are fulfilling some moral obligation to him. This exploitation of your kindness leads to a cycle where you feel obligated to give more, even when it takes a toll on your mental health and emotional stability. He becomes accustomed to your selflessness, taking advantage of your willingness to help without reciprocating, and any attempts to ask for support or acknowledgement are met with excuses, manipulation, or neglect. In the end, you are left feeling drained, unappreciated, and empty, while he remains unaffected, having used your kindness for his own benefit without ever truly giving back. God's discernment is a powerful gift that enables us to see beyond surface appearances and understand the true nature of people and situations. When you seek God's guidance in your relationships, he opens your spiritual eyes to recognize the signs of those who may not have your best interests at heart. Evil men often hide behind charm and manipulation, but God's discernment allows you to perceive their true motives. It gives you the wisdom to see through their facades and recognize the toxic patterns in their behavior, even when they try to disguise it with words or actions that seem loving or caring. God's discernment isn't just about recognizing deception or harmful behavior. It's also about understanding the deeper spiritual implications of being involved with someone who is not aligned with God's will. He will place a sense of unease or conviction in your heart when something isn't right, even when everything seems to be fine on the outside. This inner prompting is God's way of warning you, guiding you away from relationships that could lead to pain, manipulation, and destruction. When you rely on God's discernment, you are not depending on your own understanding or emotions, but rather on his wisdom. His Holy Spirit speaks to your spirit, providing clarity in moments of confusion. It may be a feeling of peace when you're with the right person, or a sense of discomfort or caution when you're with someone who seeks to exploit you. Trusting in God's discernment helps you avoid the traps set by those who aim to take advantage of you. It strengthens your ability to protect yourself, keep your heart guarded, and walk in the path of wisdom and righteousness, ensuring that you are always aligned with God's purpose for your life.